G'day guys, thank you with the Outer Circle and welcome to the third episode in our Building a Legion series, the Horus Heresy getting started. So this week we're looking at the Emperor's Children. Yes, this is Emperor's Children week. As always, important things to note. This is not how you have to play the army, this is just my suggestion for a good foundation for the army. It's always themed around, this is a good little army, represents the Legion well, and it gives you something that you can build on later and go in different directions with. So, with that in mind, let's get started. So, first thing off the bat, Eidolon's Strike Force. So in this one you get 5 Phoenix Terminators, a Contemptor Dreadnought, 5 Noise Marines, they're actually called Cacophony in the Heresy, and we have 5 Palatine Blades and Eidolon himself. I think it's pronounced Eidolon. It's Phoenician, but nobody knows how to really pronounce Phoenician, so anyway. Yes, these are basically your Legion specific choices in one neat little bundle, and it's slightly discounted from the top of my head over buying them separately. This Dreadnought, you can play it as Relinor if you arm him appropriately, who is a special character Contemptor for the Emperor's Children, but he's really nothing special. Eidolon, on the other hand, very, very good character. You've just got to be careful where you run him in. He can actually strike at initiative with his Thunderhammer on the charge, and his initiative is 7 or 8, something ridiculous on the charge thanks to the Emperor's Children rules. Just for those who want to know, straight at the start here, you get +1 to initiative when you charge, and you get +1 initiative in challenges as Emperor's Children. However, if you lose the challenge, bad things happen, so you need to make sure you win them. Only get into fights you know you can win. Now the Phoenix Terminators are one of those units that has to charge. You can't just let them be charged. Their Phoenix Spears are a spectacular weapon. They're an AP2 at initiative weapon with +1 strength on the charge. Any other time, they just count as a 2-handed power sword. So you can imagine how quickly that's going to bog you down against other Terminators. They are phenomenal at killing power armor, and if you can break a squad of enemy Terminators on the charge, then you're laughing. Eidolon in a squad of Phoenix Terminators, charging other Terminators, you'll win the fight as long as there's not 10 or 15 of them. You will just cut them down. However, if they've got sticking power, like a Primarch in the squad, or a really strong Praetor, give it a miss, go chase their power armor. Anyway, Palatine Blades, same sort of thing. Really good at cutting apart Marines. Use them to stop other choppy units, such as Rampages from the World Eaters, Night Lords, Night Raptors, that sort of thing. If you're throwing these guys at Terminators, you're just wasting them because their Charnable Sabres won't do jack or shit. The Noise Marines are a heavy support choice, so whilst the other two are elites, and the Contemptor is also an elite, the Noise Marines are a heavy option, and let's just say they work bizarrely. They're not spectacular, but sometimes they can be spectacular. It's really just down to the luck of the draw on the day when you play them. Anyway, moving on. Next one up that I recommend, the Legion Champion and the Master of Signal. So, with these guys again, you're just capitalising on the bonus you've got. A Champion works really well with your increased initiative and the Crusader special rule that your characters will have. However, you probably want to arm him with the Phoenix Spear over the sword. Again, don't have to, but that's my free advice. He will be phenomenal and do good work. The Master of Signal, again, don't have to take it, but he can be used to boost the ballistic skill of a unit that he's joined to by 1, if he doesn't shoot himself that turn. Very handy on things like las cannon squads, but I don't really have any included in this army, spoiler. Does have an orbital bombardment option, which is pretty useful. So up to you if you take him in the army or not, but he just comes in the blister pack with the Champion, and I think the Champion is really what you're after here, and he does look very Emperor's Children, not just because of the paint scheme, but the eagles on the backpack, and the crest, the stylized Mark IV armor. Yeah, it just works. It's great. So the next thing off the list, a full box of Betrayal at Calth. Now, you're not getting this for the Dreadnought, or the Terminators, or the characters. You're getting it for the 30 Marines. 2 of these squads you want to make into 10-man tactical squads for claiming objectives. The third 10-man squad, I suggest upgrading. Yes, I would give them the Emperor's Children upgrade set and make them into a 10-man veteran tactical squad. These will give you some versatility. They can also capture objectives, which is very handy. They are, however, an elite's choice, but you can upgrade them with certain weapons. So, for example, give the Sergeant a spear, Phoenix Spear, if you think he's going to be getting into assaults. Give the squad, say, heavy bolters or combi plasmas, that kind of thing. Have a bit of a play with it, see what works best for you. But I think it is good to get some of that veteran power in there. To supplement this, Space Marine Apothecaries. At least 1 set, possibly even 2. It's worth running a full 3-man Apothecary Elite's choice and spreading them out among your army. So 1 into each of your tactical squads isn't a bad choice if you want them to sit on objectives all game and survive, but it's probably worth putting them in with, say, your Palatine Blades, or join them to other power armoured squads, maybe your veterans, that kind of thing. You can also give these guys a jump pack, I believe, off the top of my head, and then you can join them to Assault Marines, which are the next option. Mark IV Assault Marines, 20 of them. That gives you 2 squads. They're scoring, and they benefit from all the charging bonuses that Emperor's Children get. If you haven't worked it out by now, you need to charge with Emperor's Children. Whilst you don't have the weapon skill that some legions have, whilst you don't have the raw attacks that some legions have, you will strike first, which is a massive advantage in Marine or Marine combat, because in most cases Marine combat just boils down to the 2 sides hitting each other with pillows, because they strike at the same time, 1 or 2 guys die. With the Emperor's Children, you have the initiative bonus. You arm your sergeants with Phoenix Spears, so that you will be getting that guaranteed few kills at the start, and you also have the rest of the squad just cutting sick. Further to that, you can give the characters in the army Sonic Shriekers, which are -1 to the enemy weapon skill, which again gives you that little weapon skill bonus you might not otherwise have. Eidolon has it, and you can give it to your champion, any of those kind of characters as well. Very handy to have. So that gives you at least 5 scoring units, and I think the Phoenix Terminators are scoring as well, which will give you 6. That's pretty damn good. Now we're moving away from the infantry. The Xiphon Pattern Interceptor. This is your anti-air. Not only that, it's really good at dealing with vehicles, lighter vehicles especially, because of its missiles, and it will also kill power armor very effectively. On top of that, it's agile, maneuverable, it's tough as far as fighters go in the Heresy, it's relatively small, and it gives you a good canvas to work with if you want to actually upgrade it with any Emperor's Children specific sort of iconography. These nice broad flat panels mean you can really go to town on it, not just with purple paint schemes, but you can go for white patches, say big white stripes going across the wings. There's a lovely icon on them. It looks beautiful when it's done right. Now, remembering that you don't have a lot of AP2, I suggest the Leviathan. Go for the Siege Wrecker and the Claw. Why? Well, the Siege Claw will cause D3 wounds for each wound that it inflicts on a model, which is phenomenal. It will just carve up things like Primarchs, Praetors, that kind of thing, Castellax, other automata, Custodes, anything that might normally give you problems, this thing will chop them down. Because of the fact that it causes multiple wounds, it stops them doing the whole spreading out of wounds thing that some armies do. On top of that, the Drill. 2d6 armor pen against vehicles. You will destroy vehicles and you will destroy buildings. It's spectacular. Plus, it gives you the options, Volkites or Heavy Flamers on the nipples, and of course you want the Phosphex Discharger on the back. Trust me, you want the Phosphex Discharger on the back. Only downside is, probably need to put it in a Dreadnought drop pod, because you don't want to be having to walk this thing across the table. It's going to draw a lot of heat, and while that may help out the rest of the army, it is still problematic for you. Lastly, my suggestion, the Legion Anvilus Pattern Dreadcore drop pod. At least 2 of these. One for the Terminators and one for whatever else you fancy. Maybe a Contemptor, if you want to get a Contemptor into action quickly. Maybe for a Veteran Squad that you want to drop on an objective and fight tooth and nail for it. Maybe for your Palatine Blades. If you've got, say, Eidolon and some other guys attached. This is options, this is speed. This gets you up in someone's face straight away so they can't ignore you. Very, very handy. Plus, after it's dropped off its load, make it fly over the top of enemy units and flame the fuck out of them, because that's funny. So there you have it, the Emperor's Children. There is also etched brass available on the Forge World web store. However, you really want to use decals, that sort of thing, or you can go for the Legion shoulder pads. Up to you how you want to do it for the paint jobs. Me personally, I go with the decals for the army. I don't know if they're still in production. I haven't double checked that. I do know the etched brass is, however. So yeah, feel free to use the stuff. If you don't want to go to the effort of painting or putting decals on everyone, do remember the Emperor's Children do have shoulder pad upgrades available. So yeah, go get those shoulder pads, pop them on your miniatures. If you don't want to use decals, you'll be fine. Anyway, I know this is short, sharp, pretty to the point as far as these episodes go. Just remember, you need to charge. If you aren't charging, you're playing it wrong. Your army doesn't get any bonuses for sitting still and shooting like other legions do. You don't get morale bonuses, you don't get counter charge bonuses. Everything that's a positive for the Emperor's Children is based around getting the charge off. That needs to be your number one goal when you're playing this legion. You can't avoid charging, and you can't sit back and try and play the ranged game against legions like the Iron Warriors, the Iron Hands, the Salamanders. They will fucking hand your ass to you. So don't do it. Anyway, I'm Mac with the Outer Circle. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.